Hello, precious ladies and gentlemen. My name is Charlene Otieno and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is KCTV. KCTV is a platform where people share their different experiences with their toxic families and relationships, and it is meant to be educative and productive, not only to the society but also to the families at large.
So my life from the start wasn't a bad one. We had a supportive father from the start. We didn't have a mom. We were two, me and my younger brother. We were left when my younger brother, I'm told, was barely 3 months old. Life was good at the start until 2007, 2008 when my grandfather died and I joined Form 1. I joined Form 1 in 2008, somewhere around March. I joined late partly because of the post-election violence and partly because there were a lot of issues at home which were yet to be addressed. My father took me to school, one of the prominent schools in Siaya, paid fees for the whole year, and that was the last time I saw him to the end of that year. He never came for any visitings. He was never at home during the holidays. But being children, things were just normal for us. We never cared much, and we never expected anything bad, considering that he had been in our lives and he had been very supportive as we were growing up. In the course of the year, we heard that he married. He had been single for long, so marriage was not a bad idea. If anything, we were also growing old. But that marked the beginning of a long journey, a long, tough journey. 2009 I was supposed to join Form 2, but I was told that I couldn't join my previous school because there was no mommy. Remember, my dad was a high school principal in one of the good schools in South Nyanza, and the fee that I was required to pay in my former school was not so much. But we were told there was no money, and we accepted it. I accepted it. My church took me to a local day school, which I proceeded with. Meanwhile, the relationship which I had built with my brother was just on the verge of breaking because we were separated. Remember, we grew up together. He was my only brother. I was his only brother. He was my only friend. But now, he's being taken away from me. Went to Form 2 to that local school. My dad never appeared. Only my church took me. Being a principal from a prominent school, the teachers in my local school knew him, knew my dad, and they wanted his attention on a few matters here and there, as a parent will be required by any school. But he never appeared. And that created a negative relationship between me and my teachers. To an extent, my deputy principal always felt that I was not delivering the messages. I was sent home a couple of times with letters to go and call my dad, and I couldn't bring anyone else because my dad was known. He was, I can use the word, a public figure in that area. But he chose not to come. Form 3, the same story. Form 4, things even escalated and I was sent indefinitely. Registered for my KCSE. under the call of my principal. After registration, I was sent back again to reappear during KCSE exams. Back at home, it was violence. My uncles were fighting. My dad was fighting with them. It appeared to me like my old grandfather was the one holding that home together, because before his death, there were no fights. The home was a peaceful one, but now after his death, everyone is fighting left, right, and center. And the victims are us, without our mother, without anyone to defend us. Did my Form 4 in 2011. Luckily, I passed. And my dad celebrated, organized the party. And I thought all will be well after that. I was wrong. After the party, everything else went back to normal. Violence, beatings here and there. But it was home. Where else could I go? I didn't have another home. I wasn't grown up with relatives. I didn't know them. I didn't absolutely have anywhere else to turn to. So I stayed. But it was becoming too much. After the release of my Form 4 exams, I got a job at our local school as an untrained teacher. Worked there for a couple of months, but because of the violence at home, I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't maintain the work. I left and went to work somewhere else in Bungoma. Came back in September 2012 when I was supposed to register for my university. As expected, my father didn't chip in. I was blessed to have a good principal who helped me register. I also had some little savings which has supported me through my first year of education. I loved home nevertheless, so any little opportunity, any little money I got, the first place I will always think of was home. Remember, my brother had been taken away from me, so I would go home to just me and my grandmother. Um, 2013 in campus elections, things were good. Well, at least nothing strange. 2014, things were not so bad. Only that the violence at home was escalating and my uncles decided to move away from home. Kila mtu akajiengea kwake, which was a good thing somehow, because the violence was draining everyone. But it was bad for me, because somehow those uncles we had would defend me, would protect me from my father's beatings. So I was alone. I really got fed up, went back to school and stayed away for so long without coming back. Not so long, but it was just barely 1 year. 2015, had a girlfriend, got pregnant. I felt the best thing to do, take the girl back home, introduce her to the family. Well, I didn't expect any glorious reception, but what I got was worse than what I expected. We were literally sent away from our home by our own dad, my own father. I chose to defer my studies to support this young woman and their coming baby. 2016 June, The baby was born, beautiful girl. I was still away from home and away from school, working. And this is the first time I started seeking the whereabouts of my mother. An old friend back in the village started giving me some clues, which I followed. They led me to a flower company in Naivasha. And it was a long search, but I finally met the person I was told will be my mother, was my mother, the person who bore the name I was seeing on my birth certificate. For a moment, it was a little relief. At least I was now going to see my mom. But that was the end of it. When I approached her, explained to her how I've tried to find her, I've worked, done everything kumfikia tu. She listened passionately. At the end of it, she sent me away. Me there, my 1-month-old baby plus my girlfriend who just delivered. We were homeless and with no family to support us. I decided to find work and nikatafuta kazi kwa the same company yenye nilikuwa nimeenda kutafuta mamangu. I was lucky, I got work. I was employed by the same company for a salary of around 10,000, general worker, kulima, kuangalia maua and such stuff. I did it for some time until I got fed up with it. Remember, this time I'm still not in school. I had deferred for 2 years and 2 years are fast approaching. I deferred so that I could recollect myself, get some money and go back to school. But now it's like there was no money. The time for deferment is elapsing, meaning the future of my education is getting dimmer. And my tunnel was kinda getting longer. "2017 Naivasha, 2018 Naivasha, then 2018 towards the end, I said, no, let me go back to Nairobi and try hustle again. I had given up with school. So I decided to hustling. And part of my hustle was doing something to do with the academic writing, which I've been doing to date. After 1 month and a half in Nairobi, I called my girlfriend come wife to come and be with me. I felt we could now start life. It was a small room, a single room, but it was good enough for us. Things were good, except that back at home, the violence took a different step. Before the death of my grandfather, he had allocated some small piece of shamba for me as the first grandson. And now this piece of shamba was the center of violence at home. I couldn't fight, I couldn't defend it, so I lost it. My grandmother would call asking me to come, but I feared fighting. I wasn't built for a fight. I was a tiny man. And I didn't like the idea of facing my dad for a confrontation of any kind. Niliamua kaende. I really believed I could work. and get something and buy a piece of land for myself. Back to my life in Nairobi, me with my wife, with our kid. General life was good, academic writing was good. It was paying bills, giving me good money. We could explore, could do everything we wanted. We had a business which I felt was good for my wife, a boutique in town somewhere. It was bringing in good money. Through the holiday of 2019, 2020, the December holidays, we welcomed our second born, another girl, beautiful one. It was happiness, but the happiness was just coming to an end in our house. My wife decided to sell everything from the shop and send the money back to her family without consulting me. I remember the sleepless nights I had to stay awake, the sleepless nights that I was always working, sitting on the laptop all day, all night, trying to raise something for the family, and now the only thing he had made was gone. When I confronted her with the issue, turned out I was the one on the wrong. I was not supposed to consult. I was not supposed to ask. I was supposed to watch as if nothing had happened. She decided to walk away and leave me after a lot of arrogant confrontations that led into a physical fight. Left me with a young baby, a few months old, plus a 3-year-old one. I had 2 babies to take care of. Well, somehow that one didn't pain me much, but the problem came when she decided to come back. It became chaos after another. We were always fighting. Peace had eluded our home. Meanwhile, I was trying to work because I was looking at where I came from financially and I didn't want to go back there anymore. I resorted to doing everything without the input of my wife. And one of them was buying a piece of land because I didn't have one. So I worked throughout 2020 or 2021, raised some money, went and started finding land, searching for land back at home. It was around an acre piece of land. Going for quite a lot of money considering my income as at that time, over 1.4 million. We agreed on the terms of purchase. I was to pay in installments. Went with the advocate, made our agreement with the seller, paid lump sum amount. Then suddenly more problems arose. This person I was buying land from, the place wasn't far from our home, and so rumors traveled very fast. Rumors reached our home that I was buying land, and my own family decided to go and attack this man for selling me land. And that's how I lost it, plus the money I'd paid for it. Meanwhile, my family was just going from one problem to another. The fights escalated. At some point, I actually gave up on the family and started doing other things which went on to make the situation even worse. I stopped caring, but I was still determined to get a piece of land. So I moved somewhere far away from home, collected my resources, and started paying for another piece of land, which I did. And during that time I was so motivated to work. I was working day and night. Academic writing, sio kazi ya mshahara. The more you work, the more you earn. The less you work, the less you earn. And I was working more, so I was earning good. During this time, I decided to rent a second house far away from my family. I left my family in Nairobi and went to the village, rented a second house. I wanted my peace. And if anything, the family was collapsing, so there was no need of fighting for it anymore, at least from my perspective. Towards 2022, I'd finished paying for the land. My surveyor did a good job and got me a title deed very fast, handed it to me, brought it to my house. And now it dawned on me that I had no more motivation to work. Started thinking, stressed over my family situation. Spent most of my time thinking about life back at home. I could go weeks without having a little sleep, the littlest sleep. I would always wake up tired, drained, exhausted every day. That's when I started drinking. I was getting depressed actually. Started drinking and drinking a lot of it, a lot of alcohol. Mostly it was the strongest alcohols in the market, the spirits. And I was doing this when I was very far away from home, from my family, that is. So they didn't know whatever was going on with me. At some point I got overwhelmed. Had a good neighbor who knew that things were getting worse on me, said to take me to the hospital. Well, I didn't have any bacterial infection, but it was just drinking on an empty stomach. At the hospital, they recommended counseling. I was assigned a counselor, but that didn't work with me. First, I didn't know this lady was counseling me. And secondly, I saw no need to live. Absolutely, I felt like life was not worth it anymore. I started going down on my bills. My rent zikaanza kuchelewa. My firstborn daughter ndio ameanza shule but hakuna pesa ya kumlipia fee. Then in one of these instances, I met an old friend who was working as a doctor. I think the fact that we knew each other earlier made it easier for him to help me. He guided me out of binge drinking, at least sasa ninge control kiasi. At least life was starting to make sense. But the morale, the motivation to fight for my family never came back. The motivation to work hard never came back. It was gone. I struggled to find it until this moment. It has never come back. I'm still late on my bills. I'm still not a graduate. And I'm still struggling to find my feet. I'm still drinking, although not a lot. I'm still a loner. I developed to become one. The situations forced me to become one, and that one has never gone away. At least not yet. You know, we expect that the family to be the last place we could go back. We could fall back when things get tough outside here. But here I am, I cannot go back to my family. Here I am, I cannot trust my woman, I cannot trust my parents. I tried to find my mom, she cast me away. My dad, clearly alionyesha intentions zake. I can't go to her. My brother, we were separated, we've never found a chance to be together again. Life has been tough. It has been a lot of struggles. I can't say I've overcome some of these issues so far. I can say I've overcome some of them. I did so by focusing on myself, especially following the encounter with my friend, my old friend. I just learned to concentrate on what mattered to me. Although some thoughts just don't go away so fast. Human beings, we are social beings. We need family and friends around us. Family sana sana. But what's the sense of having that family if they're going to be part of the problems you have to deal with for the rest of your life? I've been trying to get an answer to that question. I'm yet to find one. I've really dreamt of going back to school to complete my degree. With little hopes. Hata sijui kama nitaweza make it. Every day that passes, that dream just gets shattered away. I hope one day things will be better than they are today. I really don't expect much from my father. And I really don't intend to ask him to change. I don't even expect him to change. I don't intend to go try and find my mother again. The incident that happened in Naivasha was enough a lesson for me. I don't want another one. But parents out there listening to this, parents out there listening to my story and any other related stories, please, your children need you. Be their support base when things get tough. Guide them. Don't bring children with permanent psychological scars like myself and many other people out there have. I'm working hard on my health, my physical health and my psychological health. But parents outside there, don't make your children pass through whatever I've gone through myself. I have 2 daughters. Sometimes I feel like giving up on them, but when I remember what I went through, I wouldn't want them to go through the same situation. Despite the fights they're having with their mother, I just want to give them the best I can afford. For those who've undergone such hardships in life, please don't transmit them to your generations. Yes, you understand, sometimes they really affect us psychologically, they really affect how we perceive life. Seen of people who come from toxic families and they become toxic themselves. But sometimes we just have to learn to contain it within ourselves. We don't have to distribute them to the people who come after us. It won't help them. In everything, let's try and preach positivity.